All right, so thank you for waiting, and we are also live on our YouTube channel now so that we have both way access, and the session will be recorded in case students want to watch it for future reference. Well, I would like to begin. Welcome everyone to the fifth session of the Filling Your Common App webinar series, and we are very excited for this one because in the previous session we just had gain knowledge about how to fill your profile and your family section, and now right after that we have a follow-up session on how to fill your education part of the session. So I welcome Brandon Bond from Syracuse University, New York, and who will be taking us through about how to do your education section in the Common App. Well, before beginning, I would just like to talk a little about Next Genius. That, as we know, Next Genius is a registered charitable trust in India, and we offer full and partial tuition scholarships to high school students, students in their grade 12, and gap year students as well. And our applications for this year is already open, so feel free to visit our website and apply for scholarships. Also, I'm happy to say that Syracuse University is one of Next Genius partner colleges. So we are very excited for the program for 2020-21. And without any further ado, I would ask Brendan to take over the presentation and take it ahead. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Devika. So just to reintroduce myself, my name is Brendan Bond. I am an assistant director in the Office of Admissions at Syracuse University. And as part of my role in on the admissions team, I am the chief representative for South Asia. Been to India several occasions on recruitment trips, and happy to partner with Next Genius. And again, thank you for the opportunity for me to talk to students in country. I hope everyone's doing well. Good evening. It's certainly some unique and trying times that we're living through right now. So I do appreciate and hope, first of all, that you're all safe and surviving quite literally the current times that we're living through right now. So to jump to the presentation, I'll go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully that's coming in clearly. So we'll be discussing the education section of the Common App. So this is really when you start to get into the nitty-gritty, so to speak, of your academic life as a prospective student and a candidate to your particular university. So there are, let's see, there are 9 sections or pieces of the education section on the Common App. And I'll be going through each of these one by one and detailing all of the selections that you can make and how they may affect the Common App as a whole. You know, I should say here at Syracuse University, and like many universities in the United States, we review our applications in a holistic manner, meaning that we are going to review everything that you submit, from your transcripts, your letters of recommendation, obviously your essays. And a key part of this is the Common App itself, because this is going to give us the most clear picture of who you are as an individual. And we want to make sure we're accounting for all aspects of your life, inside and outside of the classroom, as they may affect your academic performance, but even more so how they are affecting just your life in general, because obviously that's going to have a huge effect in how you pursue your education, you know, would make up different factors in terms of you wanting to apply to certain universities. So each one of these sections is going to have different options that you'll be able to complete, just like and different pull down menus, etc., just like the previous sections of the Common App that you've had an opportunity to go through. So you will have your current high school, counselor information, other schools you may have attended, colleges and universities. So if you've taken credit at a university as part of a dual enrollment program, etc., your grades, current or most recent courses, honors or achievements, any involvement in community-based organizations, CBOs that you volunteer with, and of course, finishing up with future plans. And like I said, I'll go through each of these different sections one by one and describing the different options that you have, and again, how they will affect the overall presentation of the application, and more importantly, the presentation of you as an applicant. So firstly, looking at the current or most recent secondary school section. So most recent secondary school just refers to students who may have graduated previously and haven't gotten around to applying to university. Perhaps you took a gap year, and of course your current school is if you are going into your senior year, you're applying, you know, as we speak. That's the school you are currently attending, but will be graduating at the end of the year, finishing and completing your high school experience. So there's going to be a couple of different options here to fill out this particular box inside of the education section. So firstly, it's going to be asking you, like I said, current or most recent secondary school. And this is going to allow you to look up the school that you are currently attending. You'll be using the Find School link and enter the name of your high school, and the school list will begin to populate. Many schools in India are found within the Common App. If your school doesn't appear, don't worry. There is a help box that will enable you to still complete the Common App without having your school be officially listed within the Common App itself. You can click on the help section for that piece there. So the next section would be the date of entry. And obviously for most students, this is when they will have started their high school experience, or, you know, if you're in an upper secondary school and you're just pursuing, you know, your grade 12 boards or just the IB diploma portion of your secondary school experience, you want to enter the date of which you entered your current school experience. So I hope that's clear. Graduation date, obviously, if you're still in high school, this is going to be a future date of when you will be graduation. You can obviously get this information from your counselor and your high school staff if you're unsure. And obviously, if you have graduated, pretty straightforward in terms of listing the date in that regard. Then you'll have an option to look at a box that's titled, please indicate if any of these options will have affected your progression throughout or since high school. So it's going to give you options that are events in one's life that may have affected your progression in high school. So basically, if you've had to take a gap year in your high school career for any type of reason, or if you had to take some time off for any type of reason, this is really just an option for you as an applicant to shed light on different breaks inside of your high school career. Now, you will have, if you do select this option, because there has been a life event that has precipitated you having to take a break from your high school experience, you select that option as yes, you will be presented with a text box that will enable you with up to 250 words to explain that situation. Now, you shouldn't be fearful of this or, you know, wanting to hide for any particular reason why you had to take a step back from high school. You know, in many instances, this is going to help us get a more complete picture of you as an applicant. So the bottom line is be honest in all of your interaction with the Common App and in completion of the sections. And again, it's about controlling your story and shedding as much light as possible on your experience so far. So next, we're going to be moving to counselor information. So after you provide your high school information, you'll be asked to give your counselor's name, title, phone number, and email. And it's very important that you take the time to get this information right. If colleges have questions about your application, they may contact your counselor, but a college isn't any under kind of obligation to track down your counselor if you put in the wrong number or the wrong email address. And so you want to make sure names and titles match the persons that they call. Bottom line is, you know, in many instances, if we have a question about your application as admissions counselors, we're going to reach out to the counseling staff of your school to try to shed light on that particular situation. And, you know, again, this only behooves you to have the correct information again, because you want that communication, you want that identification information to be as complete as possible. You don't want any difficulty to come up in an admissions office trying to communicate to your counselor, because that's going to slow down your application and present a whole, it can present trouble in terms of how we would interpret the application if we're missing pieces of information. So again, making sure that information is correct in regard to counselor information. Moving on to the next section, apologies for the type there, that should say other secondary schools, not OHER. So this is an opportunity where you can list any other secondary schools that you have attended. I know in many instances in India, you may have done your grade 10 boards at one school, your grade 12 boards at another school, or if you're doing the IB program, for example, you might have completed IGCSEs at one school and then moved to a different institution to complete your IB diploma. So this is going to allow you to list other secondary schools that you have attended. So typically secondary school in terms of US application readers, this can refer to grade 9, 10, 11, and 12. So you don't have to worry about listing all the schools that you attended down to elementary school in your kindergarten. Really, we're just concerned with your grade 9, your experience from grade 9 through 12. And if you do list additional schools, again, we want it as a complete picture as possible. You will be presented with another text box as well that will allow you to provide details about why you changed institutions. Again, this could be a one-sentence answer. Hey, I wanted to pursue the IB diploma program at XYZ school. That's why I changed. Or my father got relocated to another city because of employment. It can be as simple as that, and explaining why you may have another high school provided on the Common Application. Okay. Moving along next, the next box that's going to appear is having to do with colleges and universities. So you're going to be presented with the question: if you have ever taken coursework at a college or a university, please indicate the number of colleges. So for example, this could refer to dual enrollment. Perhaps in your last year of high school or secondary school, you had the opportunity to take courses at a local university, or perhaps you graduated early and you were able to take a semester to pursue university level coursework again at a local institution. You want to make sure that the admissions committee is aware of this, not only because it may affect your standing as a transfer student or as a first-year student, but also it's going to show that you appreciate challenges, you're willing to take on a rigorous course load. It's only going to be beneficial to you in your total application picture if you allow us to see that you have taken coursework already, and you'll be presented with again, as the picture shows, pull down box where you'll have to enter in the information as it refers back to your current or previous time taking courses at a university. So now we're going to get into talking about the section, the part of the education section where you can start to list your grades and your current or most recent year courses. Now, I should say that in reality, this section is more or less optional. There's not too many asterisks that are found here. And whenever a question has an asterisk, it's going to refer to something that is actually required before you can submit the Common App. Because after all, everything that you self-report in this section of the education part of the Common App is going to be verified by required transcripts that your university will require from your current high school. And so, first of all, if you are going to complete this section, you want to make sure that there's no discrepancies between what you self-report here and what actually appears on your transcript, for obvious reasons. Again, you want to be as honest as possible in completion of the Common App. We're going to find out what marks you have anyway, so through your official transcript. So make sure that you have an actual copy of your transcript next to you if you're going to be completing this section there, and you can get into real great detail in completing this section. It's really up to you about how much detail you do want to provide. Again, We're going to have all that information readily available to us in just receiving your official transcripts from your high school, your board results, predicted grades, etc. So you have opportunities to, list courses you're taking, scheduling, titles, how many hours a week you're pursuing this, and of course, graduating class size, which is a required question, class rank, which is many high schools don't have class rank. That's totally fine. And cumulative GPA, again, don't guess in terms of putting marks down on the Common App. We're going to be able to verify it in looking at your transcript, and it's not good to have discrepancies in that regard. Obviously, mistakes happen, but you don't want to come off as being dishonest in the Common Application. In terms of current and most recent year courses, again, reporting how many courses you'd like to take, and just, as I mentioned, scheduling system, course title, etc. And you can also let us know if you're receiving future grades for any of the current courses you'll be taking through the Common App. There's obviously a lot of options to provide more detail in filling out this section. And again, it's really up to you, making sure, of course, you are completing the asterisk required portions of this section of the education part of the Common App. Okay, so then you're going to be moving on to a section that deals with honors or achievements you received, involvement with community-based organizations, and your potential future plans. So the first question you'll be be asked is if you have received any honors related to your academic achievements, beginning with the 9th grade, again, grade 9 or whatever that equivalent, in your current school. Please indicate those honors. You can only list 5, and I would if you have more than 5 achievements or honors, I would obviously list the 5 that are most important to you. And obviously, this is an optional section. Don't feel bad if you don't have awards to list here. Plenty of qualified students that are admitted to Syracuse University don't have anything listed here because maybe they didn't go to high schools where this was emphasized. So if that applies to you, there's going to be many different areas of the application where you're going to be able to highlight your strengths. Another important thing as it relates to honors and achievements, you have to put yourselves in the shoes of an admissions committee. And many honors, achievements that students are awarded, especially because you're an international student, as a US-based admissions counselor on a US-based admissions committee, we're just not going to have the cultural context to understand, how prestigious that award actually is. So, you want to provide, if you are going to list awards, as much detail as possible to give us the context that we need to truly understand how, again, prestigious that award that you received is. Obviously, even some national awards that are given out in India may be completely foreign that are obviously incredibly prestigious, may be completely foreign to us as a US-based admissions office. And so you want to be able to provide the context that's needed to let us know, hey, this actually is a big deal. I'm not just listing this here to fill up space. So that's important to consider. Next, you're going to be moving over to discuss any community-based organizations you're involved with. These are all volunteer opportunities. So this is not anything that you've paid to be a part of. That's a really key thing to keep in mind. Any organizations that you are volunteering to be a part of, again, it's optional. If you haven't had the opportunity in your high school career to pursue many extracurricular activities, don't worry. It's not going to preclude you from your admissions to many universities around the globe. And then you're going to be asked in terms of career interests and highest degree you intend to earn. And again, it's completely natural as a rising senior in high school to not know what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. So if you are undecided about your career interests, it's fine to keep this section blank. And the same thing can be said with highest degree you intend to earn. In many instances, the answers here in the application will not, in most instances, it's not going to make or break the admissions possibilities of your application to many universities. Now, if you're applying to the Wharton School and the University of Pennsylvania, obviously they are a prestigious management institution. And so maybe it might be beneficial in that case, in terms of career interest, to list something that's along the lines of management and discuss maybe pursuing a master's of business administration. But I would say 9 times out of 10, what you list here is not going to be an incredibly valuable part of building your overall context as an applicant. It's going to shed a little light, which is important, but I wouldn't get hung up about really having to put down, wow, I'm freaking out about what I don't know what I want to do for the rest of my life. So that is the education section. Move through it pretty quick. There may be questions. I'm happy to take questions if people have questions as it applies to the education section. You can see that's my contact information on the screen. I'm happy to continue an email conversation with students, and hopefully I'll have a chance to be back in India soon to visit with folks in person, to answer questions face to face. Great. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to talk with your students. Like I said, if anything comes up, following our conversation today, please reach out to me directly. You see my contact information there. And again, I work with South Asian students, and so I really enjoy the opportunity to continue the conversation following today.
All right. So thank you once again, Brendan, for having us know so much about the education section and answering all the questions again with utmost patience and detail. I would like to add one last thing is that we have a great resource that is a book called 51 Essays That Have Worked. So this is a book compiled by Dr. Neeraj Mandana, wherein Indian students have written great essays that have helped them get placed in colleges. So do refer to it, and yes, the applications for Next Genius is also open. And again, I'm very happy to say that Syracuse is one of our partner colleges. So thank you so much once again.
Of course, thank you.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Speak soon.